rest of the video. I'm sorry, on the charcoal drawing. And I gotta tell you, I know this is probably as exciting as watching paint dry, but to carry on with what we started. This is probably close to my final version, what I was able to finish after the tape ran out and the battery was dead on my camera. What I want to show you though is how after you make those little soft adjustments in there, then you can go in with a little more finish. Now I took this, sprayed it with a fixative so that I was able to get a little bit of a crisp edge in here and modulate a little bit more some of these tones in here. As you know, and as I know, and as anybody who's ever worked with charcoal knows, the more rubbing you do, the more messy it gets and the more uncontrolled. So basically, once you fix it, that keeps it from rubbing and getting kind of all over the place. But as you can see, this probably goes a little bit further than the other one in terms of, well, a lot further. You see the dark starts to happen. I've got the saucer infinitely more developed. I have that shadow there more developed, and this shadow did do a whole lot on this shadow other than show you where that very, very dark part goes as the shadow is reflected on that dark countertop or on that glossy countertop. And then a little bit of that secondary light source makes that shadow a little bit around there. Now, because this egg is closer to the surface than this saucer rim is to this surface, the shadow is a little more identifiable. But particularly by laying in and using that paper towel and later on a stump, I was able to blend some of these shadows so that you begin to get the feeling that these eggs are in fact curved. Um, Giving this dimension in the back is a way of making these eggs on a saucer not float in space but anchoring them on something. So I made the attempt to do that. And as you'll tell, this edge coming right up to that egg, this edge coming right up to that egg really gives us that form. That form is identified by the overlapping of the egg against the plate and the same over here. And again, one egg overlapping the other, and a little bit, you see how that overlap form overlaps the edge in the background. So you have a tiny little set away. It's that kind of thing that gives you the visual clues you're looking for when you do this kind of realistic sorts of drawing. Anyway, I just wanted you, oh, and one other thing about the formulation. Now, if you turn it in like this, in theory, this is not web ready, and your courses with AIO are going to be pretty much asking you for web ready images. So get in that habit now by lightening this in Photoshop, getting rid, first I take the mode and go to gray tone, and when that happens, then I get something a little bit more like this. Now I've kind of cropped in on that so that the whole composition's a little bit more interesting. And then I put that very thin line around, just a 1 pixel black line around the total image, and added the name and the title and the date down here. This is web ready. This is ready to turn in. I got rid of that kind of hokey brown tone that comes from taking a, well, that was just a raw scan actually, so that came in with that scanner. And this is after you get rid of that, after you're taking it out of RGB and put it into the grayscale mode, then you can see what that is really supposed to do. Oddly enough, when I photographed this outside, I got this wonderful gray tone without that pinky tone, so it's kind of an interesting thing. But anyway, so Photoshop helps a lot in putting those images together, but also, like I was saying, making sure that you pay attention to negative spaces, to, there's a little bit, as you can see the space through the eggs, negative spaces here and here, that gives you the shape of the shadows and the things, making sure that your edges are as crisp as you can get them, and being very gentle with this charcoal, coming in and, like I did, just add a little bit at a time, just a little smear at a time until you're able to see this whole thing kind of take place. Well, hopefully that'll help you all some if you're not asleep. Thanks.